Hey guys, it is Monday, December 28th. The time is 2:30 p.m. and the temperature outside is 2 degrees Celsius. I'm here in Etobicoke, which is on the west end of Toronto. And I'm about to turn north onto Brown's Line here, and then shortly after that, I will turn east onto the Gardiner Expressway and take that into downtown, and then from there I think I'll head north up Yonge Street, and then it might be interesting to take Mount Pleasant Road back up to midtown Toronto. So just to the west, which is to my left, is the city of Mississauga. And we've had some off and on snow flurries this afternoon, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot going on right now. And this is the Gardiner Expressway I'm now traveling eastbound on. That's the Etobicoke IKEA location I just drove past on the left. And well off into the distance there, you can see the city's skyline. That would be the financial district and the CN Tower on the right. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it'll definitely come into view as we get closer. And now some of these snow flurries are starting to hit the windshield. I'll try to keep it as clean as possible for this drive. And all these towers on the right here are right around the Humber Bay Arch Bridge. That's in a part of Etobicoke known as Mimico. When I was a kid, going along this part of the highway, almost none of those towers were even there. So something that's comparable to a lot of mid-sized city skylines alone has popped up in just that one area of Toronto in recent years. I would say these are actually a bit west of the Humber Bay Arch Bridge, but they're connected to it along the waterfront quite easily. Originally, it was just this one tall brown tower on the right. That is the Palace Pier. And just behind it is Palace Place, which was built to look rather similar to Palace Pier, but that one was added much later on. And I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying this, but I remember Alfredo Griffin, who was a former Blue Jay, lived in Palace Pier. And I knew that because my parents had a pizza and submarine shop in Etobicoke, and he would often order from them, and that's where we would deliver to. So that's kind of neat. Beach area to the right is Sunnyside, which a long time ago used to be an amusement park. And just on the left is St. Joe's Hospital. And that would be the start of the Parkdale and Little Tibet area right along Queen Street West. Get around this truck in front of me. I remember all those advertising boards on the left as a kid. They would always come across as rather neat. And just on the right, coming up is Exhibition Place, where the Canadian National Exhibition would be held every year. Except for this one, of course. And if this part feels familiar, perhaps you watched my stream where I drive from Niagara Falls to Toronto. It was snowing the whole way, and it was quite foggy, so you couldn't see a whole lot of the buildings. And it was streamed, so the quality shouldn't have been nearly as good as this. I'm just hoping that the windshield's not too obscured. There's BMO Field on the right, home of the Toronto Argos and Toronto FC. And it used to be, you would have a very clear shot of the financial district skyline from this part of the Gardiner, but so many new condos have gone up. It's really quite remarkable, the amount of development over the last just 10 to 15 years or so. The condo boom sort of started, I think, probably around 2003 when the first City Place towers were finished off. You do get kind of a neat canyon effect driving through this part. And I'll be getting off at Yonge Street. Then I'll take Yonge Street north to just short of Bloor Street, and we'll head over to Mount Pleasant Road, and I'll take that north. That's kind of a neat drive. These are almost little ice balls bouncing off the windshield here. I'm thinking it might have been a bit neater if I stayed on the highway and got off at Jarvis, we would have sliced through a few more of these buildings, although I did that in the opposite direction on the driving video that I posted this morning, where I went down the Don Valley Parkway and I came west and I hopped off at Spadina Avenue, and then I went north up Spadina. So this is the city's South Core district. I've certainly recorded a number of walking and cycling videos that pass through here. I want to be over here to go north up Yonge Street. Oh, it's really started to come down. And just on the right is where they're building 1 Yonge Street, part of the Pinnacle development. It will be one of the tallest residential buildings in the country when it's completed. I can't recall right now if it's going to be taller than 1 Bloor Street West or not, which is going up right at the intersection of Yonge and Bloor. But I think those buildings will be 1 and 2 respectively when they're completed. And this is the foot of Yonge Street. I've always found Yonge Street just to sort of be the most visually stimulating street in the city. And that's kind of why I chose it to go north through downtown at least. And then Mount Pleasant kind of opens up and it's a fun little drive. Although I probably can't turn right at Bloor Street from Yonge. It might be one of those no right turns before 3 p.m. kind of deals on weekdays. That's okay. When I get there, I'll just read the sign, and if I can't turn right, I can always turn right at Church, and that'll sort of loop me back to Bloor Street East. Ooh, there's a nice Mercedes. So just on the left is the financial district. And here's King Street. So this is where you would find King Station. There's someone running, probably to catch the streetcar. I was thinking of doing a live stream after this, but this is not the best kind of weather to be out walking around with a camera. It's kind of a rainy snowfall. I don't know how else to describe it. But I was also thinking of doing a driving live stream. So as long as the weather doesn't get too bad, maybe I'll fire that up. Although even though we're in the pandemic, there's still a chance of getting caught in traffic, and I don't think that would make for the most interesting video, so let's just see what happens. This is Richmond Street, and that's Saks Fifth Avenue on the left, and just north of Queen Street, that'll be the Eaton Center on the left. Where is this guy turning? Probably into the Eaton Center parking lot just up ahead. Just at Shooter Street here. And this is the intersection of Yonge and Dundas I'm approaching, and Dundas Square on the right. That should certainly be a familiar spot if you've watched this channel before. I don't know what this guy is advocating for in the middle of the intersection. Well, he just said Happy New Year, I think. And just on the left in front of H Mart, it looks like there's a number of police officers. Not sure what's going on there. There would be cops on bikes. I think I counted 3 of them. And here is Gerrard Street. The left lane is blocked just up ahead, so I'll slide over to the right. And this car I'm driving will go back tomorrow morning. So if you like these driving videos, unfortunately, there's not going to be a whole lot more of them until I get my hands on another car. I was thinking, once things open up a bit, it might be a good idea to do a road trip to the US. I could get some driving videos through some of the more interesting parts, as well as do some streaming. And this is Yonge and Carlton. Carlton on the east side, College Street on the west side. No right-hand turns on reds, as per that very temporary looking sign. So this is Yonge and Wellesley, and just in on the right here at Wellesley Street, you'll find Wellesley Station. I suppose I could have turned right there and made my way over to Jarvis Street and then just taken that north, which would have got me up to Mount Pleasant Road. So we've gone from the south end of downtown to the north end of downtown. This is Charles Street, which is a one-way street on the east side here, heading west, which is why I can't turn right. So I've got a bit of a decision to head over to Mount Pleasant. I could turn right. I'm pretty sure I could turn right. Oh, we've got someone parked probably illegally in the right. All kinds of parked cars. Probably Uber Eats. Let this guy scamper across. Let's see what the sign says. This is Yonge and Bloor. No right on red. Got it? Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. no right, and 3:30 to 6:30 no right. It is 2:55, so we are good. As long as it's a green light, I can turn right here. So now I'm heading east on Bloor Street East, but I'm about to turn north onto Mount Pleasant Road, which will kind of dive into a bit of a valley as soon as I turn left onto it, providing I don't screw this up and miss my turn. That should be just on the other side of Ted Rogers Way, which becomes Jarvis Street. And I seem to have once again found a whole bunch of traffic here on Bloor Street East. This occurred in the video I posted this morning. I think I can clear the intersection here. Why is this car on the right just completely stopped? Is that legal parking? So I think, nope, that's just going to turn me left into that building. It's just up here I want to turn left. Here's Ted Rogers Way. This will become Jarvis if you turn right and take that south through the city, but just up ahead here, I will turn left where there's a small line of cars waiting to turn left, and we'll hop on to Mount Pleasant. And that should whisk me up to Midtown relatively quickly. Here we go. Looks like there might be an advanced green on the way for us. Nope, not at this time. Hopefully I'll be able to make this light cycle. Kind of at the mercy of how aggressive the cars in front of us are. I don't think we're gonna make it. That truck there on my left is leaving this car behind him hanging. He has plenty of room in front of him. I don't know if you can see this, but he's got a whole lot of room in front of him, and yet he's deliberately hanging back, leaving this car behind him blocking the crossing. That's not cool. Now, of course, he pulls away. I could have avoided this if I turned right earlier and just taken Jarvis Street, because Mount Pleasant Road actually goes underneath where we are right now, where it starts. But I kind of like this part, how it dives down kind of steeply, and then we get met with a stop sign. And that'll kick me on to Mount Pleasant. There's just not quite enough room between these cars to squeeze through here. Here we go. And the guy behind me made it. Good for him. And Mount Pleasant Road. Kind of passing through the Rosedale neighborhood right now, which is a rather affluent neighborhood. Then just north of Rosedale is the Moore Park neighborhood, which is also rather affluent. And then north of Midtown, you hit the Lawrence Park neighborhood. So there's a whole lot of wealth along this part of Mount Pleasant. Or pretty much along all of Mount Pleasant. I think it ends up at a street called Teddington Park, which is in the Young Lawrence Village, or at least around there. That's kind of a neat road to drive on. Reminds me a bit of the Don Valley Parkway. Whoa, why did this guy turn into the left lane? From a quickness point of view, it definitely would have made more sense to get off the Gardiner Expressway at Jarvis and take in Jarvis, or even Sherburne up north, and then get on Mount Pleasant that way, but I'm not in any particular hurry. Here is Inglewood. This is the street where all the giant inflatable Santas are. Just on the right here is where most of the giant Santas are, and they seem to still be up. Maybe I should have gone for a drive down there. Oh well. That could have been neat. And the snow flurries seem to have let up for the most part. This is Moore Avenue. And on the left and right is Mount Pleasant Cemetery, which means I think the next street will be Merton, and then after that, Davisville. Here's Merton Street. So this area, just north of Davisville, is known as Mount Pleasant Village. And just up to the north here, there will soon be an LRT station where you could take the Crosstown LRT and that'll connect at Eglinton and the soon-to-be renamed to Cedarville Eglinton West Station. So that'll connect you to line 1 of the subway. And there seems to be some flashing lights up ahead. Ooh. Hopefully everyone's all right. And this is the intersection of Mount Pleasant and Eglinton, where you cannot turn left or right. This intersection has been an absolute disaster for as long as I can remember. Not quite as bad as Yonge and Eglinton, just because that is such a more major or significant intersection, but still, this one is definitely a cluster F. And it doesn't look like there's any end in sight. I would not be surprised if there's several more significant delays of the LRT project. There's Roehampton Avenue. I'll be turning left on Broadway, which is right up ahead, and I can take this pretty much all the way home. So this is the Yonge and Eglinton neighborhood we're in, and these buildings on the left were previously used as a shelter during COVID, and there was a lot of uproar amongst the residents in the area. They were complaining about increased crime and I guess more undesirable characters than they would like hanging out in the neighborhood. But so what? Those people needed a place to stay, although now I think that has closed down and the developers are proceeding to tear it down soon and put some condos in its place. So here's Broadway Avenue and Yonge, and on the other side of the street is Montgomery Avenue. That's the old Postal Station K just on the left, which has been turned into a retail storefront with a rental apartment building on top. There seems to be a resurgence of those. That's the site of the old Montgomery's Tavern. That tall building just up ahead to the right are the Parkview Apartments, formerly known as 500 Duplex, but I remember seeing that some new owners recently took over and purchased that property. I think they're Q Residential. And I am just going to end this video here. Hope you enjoyed this drive from Browns Line east along the Gardiner Expressway into downtown, then north up Yonge Street to Bloor, and then north up Mount Pleasant to the Yonge and Eglinton neighborhood. There are links to my Instagram account and Patreon in the description if you wish to support the channel. You can also check out channel memberships. And don't forget to check out my other channel, Johnny Stumbles, providing that's not where I ended up posting this video, as I'll post a few more driving videos there as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next one.